So why does Rockstar Games neglect Red Dead Online? Well, Rockstar has been neglecting Red Dead Online since the very start. The base game for Red Dead Redemption 2 released without the online version of the game even being accessible, and only after a month were fans allowed into what was then dubbed the beta version of the game, even though it had a fully functioning microtransaction store on day one. Yes, I'm still not gonna let that go. And since then, the game has never stopped being buggy, it's seldomly had meaningful updates, and that brings us up to now, where it's been 7 months without any meaningful changes to the game, aside from weekly shop discounts. So Rockstar, what gives? Red Dead Online is often cited as a game that arrogantly wasted its potential, especially when compared to the giant money-making machine, its older brother from California. The Western sandbox has frankly been underdeveloped by an increasingly wide margin, and that's before taking into account the monetary successes that the studio has had since its inception. So what gives? Why does Rockstar focus on GTA when they could focus on Red Dead? Why won't they fix X, Y, or Z? Well, it's pretty simple, because they don't have to. No, now hear me out. I promise by the end you'll get where I'm coming from. And then if I've earned this dislike, you can slam it like cheap vodka. Fair's fair. Where was I? Oh, right. Rockstar doesn't have to fix Red Dead Online. Not yet. To fully understand why, though, we need to back up a bit and talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. See, Red Dead 2 was built as a benchmark game. It's gorgeous and has way more graphics options than it should. For one simple reason. For years to come, whenever new parts come out for computers or new console systems release, people will be running this game to show graphics off to their friends or fellow techies on the internet. So for at least the next few generations of consoles and computers to come, Red Dead Redemption 2 will always be there. With Arthur Morgan and his beautiful beard, John Marston and that ridiculous hair, and Uncle sleeping in the corner. And it won't be number one, but when you need a great visual experience on that fancy new console, you won't reach for GTA. And sure, it may be a copy of The Last of Us 2, but I'm guessing that's a non-starter at this point, so where do you turn? Where do you turn to see every blade of globally shaded, cross-rendered, interwoven freelance coffee grass? That's right, Red Dead Redemption 2. So yeah, that's part of it. But what else, Pineapple? Well, relax, little gamer, I'll tell you. Now that we've established Red Dead Redemption 2's longevity, we can refocus on Red Dead Online itself. Red Dead Online has always had issues, like always. I remember disconnecting on the first day of the beta and being like, wow, so many people are trying to play, the servers are crashing. F on that one, boys. So yes, what I innocently thought was a player count issue turned into the harsh reality of attempting to play this game. Now, looking back over a few different copies, I've amassed close to 200 levels in Red Dead Online, a majority of which were on the PS4 version of the game, and I disconnected every day, multiple times a day, during all of it. Now keep in mind that Red Dead Online is less popular than most online games, and it's run by the biggest games developer working today. So how on earth could this happen? Well, because, to be frank, the game isn't built for this generation of hardware. The main problem is that Red Dead Online's majority console player base is being held back by the earliest versions of their respective systems from the early 2010s. And as we talked about earlier, Red Dead Redemption 2 was built to test modern and future components and systems, so to say that the PS4 Slim struggles with the game would be an understatement. And sure, the Xbox One X version of the game is pretty good, but the difference becomes clear the more power you put behind the game, because disconnecting on PC is few and far between when compared to its console counterpart. So yes, Rockstar obviously released the game in a dumbed down state on the original consoles for those players to have access to it, but also that's another game sale, and if Red Dead Redemption 2 is built to thrive on the next gen, then everyone will rebuy it there anyway. So launch it early, sell 17 million copies, then wait a year and sell 8 million more when it re-releases on the hardware it was arguably meant for. Another bonus reason is that since the game can't run, updates make it worse. So you can't really update a game that you can't get to run properly. And if you can't run the game properly until it's run on a 2020 system, well, you're not getting an update. Which leads us to now, 7 months without an update because the last update broke the game. And when I say the last update broke the game, I mean that wholeheartedly. When the Moonshiners update, which is the last update to come out, released, there was more people on the servers than ever. And as we've already discussed, the servers couldn't handle the original population of the game, let alone it doubling or tripling with everyone checking out what this new Moonshine role was. So if the game couldn't run it where it was at, and now you've tripled the player base and added a bunch of new features, it's no wonder that very quickly the game was dubbed as broken and everyone everywhere was talking crap about it online. It really is a pretty harsh reality of playing Red Dead Online or wanting it to be good, is recognizing the fact that this game is a little bit ahead of its time in one regard, i.e. the story mode, and way behind everything else in another regard, that being online. And Rockstar knows this. Rockstar knows they have time to fix it. They know you'll buy Red Dead Redemption 2 at some point in the next 10 years, and they know that like Grand Theft Auto, the game will be entirely different by then, and people will be kicking themselves for calling it bad, as long as Rockstar actually fixes it, which they're gonna do, right? Right? So before we get to my final explanations and the proverbial bow that I'm wrapping around this video, I want to highlight some of your comments about this exact thing. And the cool thing about this is I already ran a question over on my community tab about this exact topic, so I'm going to have relevant answers from today, that's right, today, to share with you guys. So when asked why you thought Rockstar neglects Red Dead Online, the most top-rated comment comes from the Strange Man, who, if I'm not mistaken, is the same Strange Man from Twitter. If it is, Saul, what's up, dude? Anyway, he says, money. Why spend your time on good story DLCs or a smaller online mode when your bigger game makes $500 million each year with recycled content? GTA Online is a curse. We have another comment here from Jason Morgan. He says, I mean, come on, man. They still haven't fixed the spawning animals yet. What the hell? And we have a comment here that kind of backs up what I've been saying. It says, they are waiting for the next gen to launch something meaningful so they can charge you for another copy of Red Dead Redemption 2 that's quote-unquote updated and enhanced. What they don't realize yet is how the player base is opening their eyes to Rockstar's BS, the greediness and lack of respect for players. With games like Ghost of Tsushima and Cyberpunk, they are losing thousands of players. I personally don't trust Rockstar anymore, and I never will again. Another comment here from Dr. Pogonomics, and he says, hardware limitations plus COVID plus Skeleton Crew plus lack of interest in investing from Take-Two. I think it's a combination of all of these. And we have another comment here from Enrico that says, now they clearly care a lot about this mode. They make that clear every single week, more and more. Another comment here that says they're getting ready for next gen. And then the last comment I'm going to feature here is from B Dizzle, and it says, I think that they are waiting to announce something next gen related, but it's going to be in coordination with Sony. And then separately, he says they haven't abandoned the game. And that's true. I mean, they are updating it seldomly with little bits of like, you know, here's this, here's that. It's not like they totally haven't said anything. It's just in terms of like game changing, you know, and actual like update content, there hasn't been anything in a little over 7 months. I think we're coming up on 8 now. But in general, it seems like the community has really got the nail on the head here as far as why Rockstar isn't prioritizing this game. And like I said, we're gonna go more in detail in that right now. The PS5 set to release around November 20th, just in time for holiday season. It is extremely likely to me that we will see an update for Red Dead Online that coincides with these new systems. I don't know if it will be after or before. I'm not entirely sure. My initial impression is that it would be afterwards, although microtransactions are a big incentive for Rockstar, so adding something that makes people want to buy gold bars as a present is always their MO. However, it is just tough to see, but we are looking at early November for the PS5, which means I would say look around early November, December for the new Red Dead Online update, which means you have months to wait. And I've seen some people speculating on Twitter at this exact thing as well. Like, the reason we haven't heard anything from Rockstar is because they only really say stuff when an update is coming, and an update probably isn't coming for a little while. And that's a tough pill to swallow for fans, because they are watching Grand Theft Auto Online get update after update after update, and then we don't get anything. I say we in a colloquial term because this is a Red Dead Online channel, but in reality, in my personal life and even in my professional life here on YouTube, I already have other channels that I'm working on because, quite frankly, this game was dropped by Rockstar a long time ago. Do I plan to stick around in the community? I mean, hi, you're watching a video. But it would be foolhardy of me not to recognize the fact that Rockstar genuinely does not care about this game right now, and that they probably won't until there is more power to develop on. I have no doubt that Red Dead Online will be great in a few years, and I've said that since the day it released. But that, my friends, is my best guess, my best ideal, or my best reasoning on behalf of Rockstar for why Rockstar Games neglects Red Dead Online. So to put a bow on this, Rockstar knows that at some point on future hardware you'll try Red Dead Online again, and that's what Rockstar is betting on. They're betting on the consumer's inability to resist just checking to see if online really looks that much better on PS5. And then bang, another copy sold. And I know what you're thinking, but what if I don't check? But what if I don't buy the game? And you're totally right, Rockstar may have lost you, the individual watching this video, but their development pipeline shows you just how much time and energy they once spent on new IP, and all that is now funneled into online expansions for their existing games. And with Red Dead Redemption 2/Red Dead Online hitting 7 months straight without an update, Red Dead Online fans really could be slapped with a massive update any day now, although it seems unlikely anything game-changing could be released with the game where it is. I find it hard to believe Rockstar has no plans for the Cowboy Frontier, but alas, we'll just have to wait for the next generation to see. Alright, thanks for coming to my Dead Talk. Peace.